Okay, so welcome everyone. We've brought together two providers and two account managers. The providers we've got here are Rewards Training, and we've got Walsall Adult Community College, which is quite a mouthful, really, isn't it, Darren? So we've brought those two colleges, and Darren has very kindly offered to give an overview of using the Office 365 for Nigel and Andrew at Rewards Training, and hopefully we can share this with other providers in the future. So hand over to you, Darren.
Okay, wonderful. Apart from I'm struggling to share my screen, but I'm just trying to find the option. But basically, we again, you sort of need to sort of perhaps tell me exactly what you're looking at, or you sort of your target audience is. But we sort of came from a background of we had sort of everything of ours on premise. It was too expensive. It was odd to sort of manage because we had limited staff. So we sort of made the decision to move completely to the cloud. One of the requests was for an intranet, so we just looked at using the built-in SharePoint. We struggled for a few months because there's not really a lot out there to look at in terms of intranets, because they're quite sort of closely guarded, we understand, so people don't want to sort of share what they've got, sadly. So we don't know if ours is any good, but it does the job for us. Can I check, can you all hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Yes, we
loud
can.
and
I
clear.
just didn't want to talk to myself.
No, you're doing grand.
Yeah, okay.
It's sometimes off-putting though, isn't it, when you can't hear any response and you're not sure if you are talking to yourself or not. So.
Yeah, so we decided to build an intranet, of which we've sort of, we had a staff development day, and we asked staff to sort of say what they wanted, and we had some weird and wonderful ideas that were just never feasible, really. So I just sort of sat there and put something very quickly together, which it's okay, it looks okay, it does the job that we want it to do. One of our biggest requests was staff news, because staff basically said that they didn't know what was going on in the college, and then secondly, it was we want one place to get as like a resource portal. So where can we get our emails from? Where can we get our documents from? Rather than sort of sending them to 20 different places, we send them all to the intranet, and then they go from there. Again, I'm not sure if that's something you've struggled with, but it's been an absolute nightmare for us. And as we change systems, we then have to, or we were resending out different links, and then people wouldn't get the email, and it was an absolute nightmare just to manage different links to different places. So for us, it's even just for that reason, it's fantastic. And then we obviously looked at learners, so we sort of looking at learners now and offering, because the Office products you can get for free. I'm not sure if do you guys pay for yours? I think Jane was sort of talking about this. Do you guys pay, or?
Nigel, you're muted at the moment. You've muted your mic.
No.
Sorry, my connection went for some reason.
Oh, okay. Did you hear the question that Darren asked?
No.
No, I was just sort of saying we moved primarily because of costs, because we don't pay.
Yeah.
But I know that Jane, I think Jane says that some of you might be paying. I'm not sure.
No, we're on the free version at the moment.
Right.
On
Okay.
E3, but we are possibly going to be moving to E2 for our staff, so we can get the Office licenses.
Right. Okay. And is that paid E2? So I'm not quite familiar with it.
Yes.
So it is paid.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the next one up.
Right. Okay.
But it's only something like £3 per user per month.
Okay. I mean, I can look at what we've got, but we certainly don't pay for any of ours. And all our staff get Office at home. They get it on 5 different products at home, as well as obviously we get it in the college. So I'm not quite sure how it works out.
Right.
Whether we were on an old agreement, I'm not sure. But we certainly don't seem to be have any limitations on what we're trying to offer. And last time I looked, we got something like 750 terabytes of space that they gave us.
Right.
Again, we don't pay. I think we're using half a terabyte, so yeah, it's daft.
It does depend on the number of users you've got.
Okay.
Because how many users have you got, Darren?
In terms of it differs. For staff, we have full-time members. We have 120 staff. That's just full-time, and learners. We're just over 10,000 learners.
Yeah, that's where your storage space is coming from then.
Right. Okay.
If they're all licensed learners, then you get, as well as your organisation initial space, storage space.
Right.
You get something like 500.
Right. Okay. I understand. Yeah. Oh, so that's obviously where that space comes from then.
On top of their OneDrive.
Right. Okay. Okay. No problem. I understand. So yeah. So we don't get that. And as we use it, they just seem to be increasing it. So we never sort of we don't have to worry about it. I'm just looking. Does anybody know how to share your screen on this? Normally it's a little.
You know your icons at the bottom, Darren. You've got your microphone next to your microphone to the right of it. If you hover over that, it's a square television, and you click on that, and it says present. And then from memory, because I don't want to do it, so otherwise I'll end up presenting.
No.
From memory, then you have to click on OK presenting, and then it will share your screen.
Okay. On mine, it just says present, and then I've got manage content. Doesn't seem
present.
to be.
There should be one that says present desktop.
Can't find it.
Right at the top.
Sorry about this.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to think of another way that we could do it. Let me just.
Yep.
Yeah. Ian?
Okay. Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please ignore the dodgy pictures that we've got of staff, particularly mine. Yeah. I mean, basically all we did, we just picked the out-the-box SharePoint site. And there is a few themes sort of built on, and we just basically chucked our corporate colours at it, and then we tried to give staff the facility of looking after their own team sites, basically. So what we kind of did here is we created a blog site and linked it to the front of this site. So this is 2 sites rolled into one, and bear in mind I've got absolutely no SharePoint experience, so it is what it is. So I'm no expert, but like I said, it does the job for us. So basically what happens is we have internal staff, and what they do is they feed a site which feeds this site. So what they do is they create a post. Here, create a post, you can put videos in. It's got the same, and all this is built onto SharePoint. You can like and comment and that sort of stuff. And when they put a post on, so they put start date, end date, it feeds the front of our site. And this opens up when a member of staff logs in. So a member of staff logs in to a machine, and this opens up and logs them in automatically. So they don't, there's no login required, because it takes takes the credentials. And then what we do then is we just put links down the side. We have a little ticker that you can use. Again, it's just an app that is free that you can just add on. So again, there's no charge for none of this, the same as this. And we just bolted the free apps onto the front, and it worked. And then what we started to do then is we took our, we used to have separate drives, so like personal drives, which is quite common.
Yeah.
So like an H drive or an S drive, which connects to a file server, and we moved that. So we took that and we put them into different areas. So basically, if a member of staff have got access to a particular area, they would see this link. If not, they wouldn't. And then when they go to that particular area, they can get their documents, or we do different things. You can basically link to anything or make it look however you want. But it was, again, I've got no experience, so it's just kind of out the box. But we feed our college Twitter through it, so everybody can retweet at the college and that sort of thing. We've just started looking at electronic forms because we use a lot of paper. So we're starting to move all our forms online. Again, they're not fantastic, but they use workflows, if anybody's used a workflow before, which are great. So a member of staff fills out a form, it automatically goes to HR and they accept it or deny it, and it sort of whizzes around the college. So it's little different things like that. So again, it's not amazing, but it works. So every department has got their own area, and again, you've only got access to what you've got access to. You can target sort of one of the great things about SharePoint is you can target everything. So if you wanted to say put links down the side but have different links for different staff, you can do that. So you can target individuals. So SharePoint is really, really good for that. Has anybody used SharePoint?
Yeah, we're using SharePoint at the moment.
Okay.
Basically as a team site.
Okay.
Which is then subdivided up into our respective departments.
Right.
But are you saying that this is, you're saying that these are two sites in one, so it's the base site itself,
yes,
sort of container site, the team site, and then the rest of it is a blog site. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So basically, this is only two sites. So we had so we've got a blogging site which just basically just feeds the news. So these all the posts that they do, and what it does is it feeds. I can give you the details of the apps that we used, which basically feeds the front of the page, and then these are just subsites. So you can go and create a subsite directly, and we just created a subsite for each department. And when you create a subsite for each department, it creates a link. Automatically, but then it only shows the link for the people that have got access to that subsite. Yeah. So a lot of people will come in and only see access for all, or will only see if you're part of admin and that sort of thing. Right. And then obviously we had different areas such as health and safety that everybody has access to, and our MIS. Which is we started to look at performance dashboards and things like that, and videos and that kind of thing, which a lot of they're daft because it's all kind of in one place. It works, and because it's all out the box, we've not had to sort of pay for anything. You can link videos to YouTube or Vimeo or whatever you want to do. And then obviously there's I'm not sure if you get the same. I would imagine you would, but there's also you've got a video portal now, which we've kind of started using for external verifiers that we use, and for learners. Now I'm trying to think where that is. That's here, isn't it? And then you can embed them into SharePoint kind of directly. So that works really well. And again, because we're not paying, it's great. And for learners, we've obviously rolled out we look at the OneDrive. We've just got them to what we're doing at the moment. They're syncing as a H drive.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a nightmare, but we've finally got that working. So they've still got an H drive, but it syncs from their OneDrive directly.
OneDrive for Business.
Yeah. So it links from Skype for Business. So that took a bit of tinkering, but again, I can send you the details of that because that's quite useful depending on what you do. Because people do like to use kind of this because they're used to it, aren't they? But
well, that's right, and especially I mean, how do you get to the users? Tend to use the same machines.
You don't need to for this. This was the good thing about it because there's two ways really. I mean, we use some scripts that run that automatically synced this drive locally.
Yeah.
And I can send you a link of where we got that from because there's somewhere that we found that did it, and we just sort of pinched it and adapted it for us, and that works. I'm not sure what sort of bandwidth issues that have, but we don't seem to have any.
Right.
If it was me personally and I did this again, I wouldn't do that. I would just make them use this. I wouldn't even worry about recreating an on-premise drive because it's just hassle. For me, there is no reason why they can't just work this way.
Well, that's right. Plus, you've got the space. If they're thinking OneDrive folder, if they're thinking their OneDrive for Business, then that's bringing a copy of those documents down. So that's you need somewhere to store those documents.
Yeah, you can turn that off now. There's an option now to turn that off completely for the organisation. And then, to be honest, I would, if I started again, I wouldn't let them sync because there's no reason why, particularly for learners, that can't just work in the cloud. For instance, now the new versions of Word, if you do sort of have Word on site, when you save now, you do get an option to save directly back. So you've got that's the shared sites that you've got access to, and that's your personal. So you don't really need to sync. So you can just save. Can you see it? Just saves. There's my SharePoint site.
Yeah. So I'm having trouble seeing it on the screen at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
But basically, on this document, you can save directly to shared sites or your personal. So there is really no need to hold any sort of files on premise if you don't want to. It's one of them. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Some organisations sort of want to be a sort of master of their own destiny.
Because we're only using it for staff at the present time.
Yeah.
And it's those staff who are out and about, like our assessors, have got laptops. Yeah, I've got document libraries, one or two document libraries, and their OneDrive for Business synced to their laptops, which makes sense, so they've got access to those documents while they're out and about.
Yeah.
I started with some of the office-based staff doing it on just a couple of their documents libraries, just for convenience sake, really and truthfully. And there are a couple, there are a couple of members of staff who move between offices, and that makes sense if they've, especially for their OneDrive to be synced. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But we did fall the cropper the other day to the fact that we got one machine that sort of a number of people use, and we ran out of space because they was all syncing the same library. So you're getting, inundated with documents. So we had to put a stop to that.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got staff that go out and about, the syncing works a treat because the way it works, as you probably know, it syncs when they get an internet connection and it works offline when they don't. So it does work really well. But I would say for staff that are permanently on premise, I wouldn't. In my own experiences, I wouldn't sync. I just wouldn't. I don't think there's any need to.
But it's not really, truthfully. Okay.
But everybody works differently, don't they? It's only my experience. And trying to look after 200 members that are having sync issues, because the syncing is not fantastic. I know there's a new app now that's just rolled out, and it does seem to be a bit better. But again, if you don't need to, I wouldn't personally.
Well, that's right. I mean, it does depend on which version of Office you're using as well. As far as the sync's concerned. So you haven't got a SharePoint site set up for your learners.
No, we're just about to do that currently. We've got Moodle set up for learners. So basically, when learners log in, they log into Moodle. So they kind of go from there, but they use the OneDrive and their emails in the cloud. As we do, but we're just looking at a SharePoint for learners, because we wanted to make sure we could do it for staff, because it doesn't matter about upsetting staff as much as it just.
That's true.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah, but now we've got the experience of doing it for staff. Learners are definitely next, because it's definitely the way to go. But there's all sorts of stuff you can do. I mean, we looked at, because people were. The problem with SharePoint and documents, it can get quite heavy, and we're kind of looking at different ways of filtering. So we've changed the way we get our policies. So we've again, this is out the box. So just drop a filter down, and it drops the name of the document, and then when they get the document that they want, they just click it, and it opens the document, and it's a lot neater.
I think I'm going to have to make a separate call to you, Darren. There's a lot of this stuff I've not seen on ours.
No. I mean, I can point you in the right direction of where to go with this, but
especially on styling as well.
Yeah.
Nigel, because we're recording this, then you can look at the recording, and everything's coming through on the recording. So you'll see all the styles on that. So maybe sort of as we carry on, we can probably bear that in mind, Darren.
Okay. No problem.
Is it the speed that's not picking up for you, Nigel?
No, it's just the screen size. I can only see part of the screen at a time. I have to scroll up and down. Otherwise, it's just like if I do it to fit window, then I can't really see the details. But I might go back to that so I can see a bit more there.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, the way this works, it's a document library exactly the same. And what we've done is we've filtered the policies into different lists. So if it was a flow chart, you would click flow chart, and then it would just show you the flow charts. And if it was a finance flow chart, of which there's none. So that probably isn't a good example, isn't it? But you can see, and then obviously you can click on the document, and you'll get that document. So that's we've got one flowchart that's a learner, and that's the way that works. And it's just a quick way of I mean, we're not all good. I mean, we're quite heavily tiled. I've taken this tile route because it works for me, but as you can see, I'm starting to get different issues because I'm still learning it. I do have the odd issues, but in the main, it's pretty faultless. We don't really. I never get any reports on technical issues at all. It just seems to work once it's done. The biggest issues you've got, and I'm not sure if you're fully aware of this, but do you know there's a limit on the number of files that you can use in a library?
Yeah.
And it's not the amount. It's so it's not the actual terms of data size. So it can have terabytes of data, but it's the number. Yeah, and it's not very much. My understanding is that it's changing, but it's a real limitation. And I'm struggling now to get around that, to be honest. What we're doing at the moment is we're creating different libraries. So once we get to the 5,000 limit, we're creating a different second library. And we're doing it like that. So yeah, it depends on what you do, but you can. I think that the biggest issue starting was creating the permissions. and that's if I could have sat with myself sort of 6 months down the line, I could recreate this now in probably a week.
Yeah.
But it did
It's
take
always
me
the
6
way.
months. Yeah. Probably 2 days worth of work. But it did take 6 months, and a lot of it was about the permissions, because of giving them permissions that they shouldn't see, because staff will just click whatever they like and break, unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of them. I can talk for hours and hours, so you kind of, if you want to ask me anything, ask me. But a lot of the things that we kind of did were, we use a lot of apps that's freely available on sort of SharePoint Online, such as we're asked for a people finder, of which there's a great one that you can get online. So if you wanted to know where staff was, and this works great with Skype. So this one built directly into Skype, so they can instant message, email directly, and phone if you've got that built in.
Is that one
I know it's a daft little thing, but it works great.
Yeah,
so staff can instant message each other.
apps?
Yeah, we're doing this for learners, so learners can chat, and there we're looking at, and I think you use Yammer, don't you, Jane? I think.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we use
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a link to Yammer as well if you want to do things like that for chat. I don't know. It's kind of one of them. I think going forward, potentially it could be huge, and we've kind of done it that way. So we've got a starting point, and we just got to sort of build from there.
I think the great thing, Darren, is, as you say, so it's got potential to grow, hasn't it? So that it becomes an all-encompassing tool, that a one-stop tool, which I know that's something, when I've spoken to Nigel and Andrew in the past, that's something that you want to achieve, where you've got people go to one place as opposed to half a dozen other places. I remember, Darren, you telling me that on your front page they can go to things like, I think you've got it linked to the BKSB, haven't you? Sort of into assessment tools. Yeah,
we have. We've got BKSB, and we're also. I'm not sure whether this is going to show, but we're just applying this to. I don't think it's going to show here, but we're looking. Can you see the bottom of this screen here?
Yeah.
But basically, yes. This is actually someone. I can't take credit for this, because this is someone, I think, Jane Edwards, I think you've put me in touch with this person, but they've got a little module that links directly to your BKSB results. It's not kind of working fully, but we're in contact. But it will show on your intranet and Moodle learners' direct results at BKSB. So we're looking to finish this off at the minute. But this was Jane. Edwards has got that person. I think it was something that just did, Jane.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember.
Yeah. I'll get the details of this, but they used it only for Moodle, but we took it and applied it to our intranet at the same time. But what it basically does is it'll have the ability for staff to go straight to BKSB, but also for learners to get their results live, embedded in, so that's quite good. So yeah, but going forward, we've got lots and lots of ideas, but now we've got a sort of starting platform. We think we can pretty much do whatever we want, but
Excellent.
I think the hardest part is getting the staff on board.
So how are you approaching that, Darren?
Quite harshly.
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
Yeah, sometimes the carrot doesn't always work, does it?
No. We did a staff development day originally, and we sort of says we are going to move to cloud. These are the benefits. This is what we're going to do. So we tried to get them on board, and then we built the intranet. We forced it on them, so basically it opens up every time they log in, so they have no choice. And then we removed every other service. So they had to get their emails from here. They had to get their documents from here. and then we kind of took it from there. We're about 6 months in, and we're finally removing the last. Today is the last day of people having a drive on premise, and that the rest of them are going today. So that's taken sort of 6 months for the. But we do have a lot of temporary tutors who are only sort of here 2 days a week.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think that's the same for most providers, isn't it? They have full-time staff, but there's an awful lot of sessional lecturers and tutors, assessors.
Was yours more about your learners than staff, Nigel, or?
No, the SharePoint side, it's more on the staff side.
Okay.
It's basically designed to replace our file server.
Okay.
As far as emails are concerned, our emails are up in the cloud, but we're still accessing those mainly by using our Outlook client.
Okay.
And the normal office applications as well.
Are you worried about moving your files off?
Sorry?
Are you worried about moving your files off premise to the cloud, or?
No, not at all.
No. I mean, I've been a little bit naughty, to be honest, and because I'm a little bit sort of.
Don't believe that, Darren.
Yeah. I still do have a file server, but what I've actually done is I've synced the SharePoint sites directly onto a file server. So I've got all the files on premise as well. It's probably not the best idea because it does kill off your file server a little bit. But it sort of gives me that peace of mind that I've still got. So basically all I've done is I've synced every team page directly to a file server, and it works.
Yeah.
That's probably not the best way to do it, so I'm not sure whether that's something I'd recommend, but it does work. So if you've got sort of a file share, like we have, I sync that down. But again, it's probably not the best thing to do. But,
well, it's going to eat up your internet connection.
Yeah, it does a little bit. But I'm not going to keep that going. I'm trying to close this window now. So yeah, so I'm not quite sure, but it does work. Again, I'm not sure what I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to achieve, but if you can tell me, I might be able to point you.
I mean, it's given me some ideas on what you've done. I'm quite interested in in the way that you've laid it out.
Okay.
Because it's coming from a different angle to what I went.
So have you just got the sync the drive directly to their machines and
yeah
as
far as OneDrive's concerned anyway, and then one or two document libraries.
Yeah.
I mean, on our SharePoint site, I've divided it up into various different team sites for sales and marketing and training department and finance and so forth.
Okay. Kind of like this, but not graphically.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to find out how you managed to get the graphics.
Okay. Yeah. No problem. I can speak to you about that if you want. We won't bore sort of everybody else with it, I think, but yeah, I can speak to you about this and about the theming and that kind of thing if it's
yes,
like that
indeed
interests you. But because it's one of those, we always feel that. Well, for me, I always think that if it's pretty, staff tend to adopt it a little bit better. And what we did, we even got them to pick their own little pictures, and I know it's daft, but
it's taking its ownership, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, I think, it's a really good strategy is to get them to have ownership of it, and then they're more likely to use it if they feel comfortable with what they're seeing.
Of course.
And I think we all like pictures, don't we? We like something that's visually stimulating.
But we took our, if you notice, this is our Moodle site. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we used these are, what were they now? There's icons from So they're not actual pictures. They're I can't think of what they called it. It'll come to me in a second. But they're not actual pictures.
No.
They're just text, and they show us pictures.
Yeah.
So they don't slow down at all. But yeah, it works, and we've kind of took the Moodle the same kind of way and took the same kind of theme in. So it's sort of standard across for the staff, so they get used to it a little bit. But it's surprisingly, it's not actually complicated. It's one of those, isn't it? It's once you know, it's easy.
Well, that's right. Yes, indeed. A little bit of tweaking here and there, and then you can turn it into whatever you want to turn it into.
Yeah.
I mean, the way you've done it is absolutely brilliant. I mean, obviously you're a bigger organisation than what we are, and so therefore you've got a lot more to cover. But it's definitely given me some ideas anyway. And I think Andrew has probably picked up a few, but
the only thing I'll say is I don't know because I don't know your size, but there is only me. We don't have any IT staff at all.
Join the club.
So you could do it. You could definitely do it because like I said, we've got 50 different sites that we run from, and and the whole idea behind this is to make it really, really easy, so I don't have to manage it. So the idea was to give staff the ability to, once it's set, to just do it themselves.
Yeah.
And
that's the hardest part, is getting them to buy into that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but we do daft little things like you can do, facilities such as these. I mean, this is not the prettiest example, but we can do sort of alerts on that you can directly target different members of staff. So what we've got here, we've got a little app that what it does is I'm just going to show you this just to sort of show you how easy it basically is. So this is going sort of editing the site as it is. So we've got some home alerts which is built on, and what you can do, you can create an alert. So you can do a test, you can type whatever you want. Hello, this is a test. You can put whatever you want here, links or whatever. You can theme them. You can create little pictures as we go. Little templates. So this is just a template that I've done kind of out the box.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it disappear after so many seconds. You can make dismissible, yes or no. But the great thing about SharePoint is the targeting.
Yeah.
So you can target any member of staff, any learner.
That sounds really useful.
Yeah, it is really, really good. So if you've got some exams and you wanted to target departments, it basically links to your Active Directory. So did you see the upper top right corner?
Yeah. Cool.
So that would hit any particular member of staff or departments or students, and then you can create them to appear at different times in the day, and so that was really powerful because this page loads up every time they kind of log in. It's fantastic, and it's such a neat little tool. And then because you can make them that they have to dismiss them, if they don't dismiss them, then you know they've not read them, which is great. You can make them bigger, make them smaller. You can target, like I say, you can target departments. So you can target the entire finance department, or let's say an individual in that department. Give them headings, smiley face, or a car. You can colour them to whatever colour you want, and that kind of thing. But yeah, and it was this kind of thing going forward that we liked. So you could have these sort of it in it in the full. Turn it up top right hand corner, but you can have this coming right into the centre of the screen here. Mm-hmm. So it covers all of the screen, so they have no choice but to read it and then dismiss it. Otherwise, they can't work. So it's different things like that, which were really good for us, because we have staff that say they didn't get the message, or we didn't get this email or that kind of thing. So it's another take on kind of that.
I think we could all do with that sometimes, couldn't we? When there's
Yeah.
something important that we miss.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
it's good for
useful.
health and safety. So health and safety uses it a lot. So we'll say fire alarms are going to appear at this point, and they'll come on just before, and they'll go off just after, and things like that.
Because do you use it to send out sort of reminders? Say if you've got a CPD going up, or
Yeah.
do you use it for that as well? 'Cause
We
that would
do
be useful.
exactly that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
perfect for exactly
Yeah.
what we do it for. So remember, you can target anywhere within the site. So if you've got staff that go directly to just their that particular page, you can have the alerts anywhere you want them to appear in any particular person. So you can have them, annoyingly, you can have them popping up every 5 seconds if you want them to. It depends on what you want to do. It's pretty much open to abuse. If you've got, well, we've got sort of quite a heavy-handed health and safety man, because he's really good at his job, so he really wants to chuck out his messages all day. So you've got to be careful of who you give it to. Because you can get swamped with it, but it works. It does the job.
And is that coordinated, Darren? So does it coordinate so that, say, your health and safety person and yourself want to send out 2 reminders or 2 messages? Would you know that each of you is sending them?
Yeah, I basically the way that everything in SharePoint works off a list. Everything is on a list. So what you basically do behind the scenes is you've got a list, and on that list it tells you who's done it and who's created and what date it's from and to and that sort of thing. So you are best to do it that way, but you can just check and see who's got what on the list. And it what we do is everything is, I'm not sure if you can see the top bit of this, but everything has got a link. So all we do is we give the staff a link, and what they do is they fill out this box. So if you want to put an alert on, give them the link, and they just fill out this field. And that's all we get them to do.
So is that something that would be useful for you, Nigel?
Possibly, yeah.
Again, please tell me if I'm just waffling, because I don't kind of know what you're looking for.
It's just looking at ideas that other people have come up with and using SharePoint for.
Yeah.
Really, truthfully, so it's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone through all the resources that are online, but as you said earlier, it's very difficult to look at any intranet that's up and running to get any ideas from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the wrong way or right way of doing it.
Yeah, of course.
It's just knowing what you can and what you can do with it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing for me. I could not find anything at all. I think the only information I ever got back is I asked Jane, Jane Edwards, if she could send me some, and I got one from Wolverhampton.
Yeah, was it Craig? I was just thinking that it was Craig. Yeah, probably Wolverhampton.
And while this was great, and it fitted for them, but not for us.
But at least you can eliminate what you don't like then, and you think, well, I won't bother with that. But you'll focus on something else then, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good. It does look really good. Yeah.
It does look good.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do, but again, it works for us. There's a lot more to it than what I'm kind of showing you. I mean, the targeting on SharePoint is amazing. You can just have a document that hits a person depending on the department. It just depends on what you do. We're looking at links now that are targeted per department. So depending on what department they're in, they'll only see these particular links. We have responsive video, so depending on what they see depends on what videos they see. For training purposes, we're just looking at that. We've got some particular these filters are fantastic if you want to look at a different way of presenting documents, because documents are documents, aren't they? But I think the hardest part with documents is finding easier ways of people finding the document that they want to get to, and this is quite good for learners. We're going to look at this for learners, but it's all Active Directory integrated. So if you've got an Active Directory on site, it's great because this basically works all around this. So all the departments are from this, all the it's all kind of from this.
I think you're using it an awful lot better than we are, isn't he, Jane?
I think so. Yeah.
we underuse ours definitely.
Yeah. We're not using the same.
We're not using it. I suppose it's horses for courses, isn't it? It depends if you're using it because if you're using it because you want to. When we're looking at maps now, and we can do sliders. I've not got one to show you, but we're looking at traditional sort of sliders that you can target. So you can imagine a slider what you'd see on a normal kind of websites that you can see. We've got those, but the difference is you can put videos on in them. They're targeted for different people. But staff, the idea is that staff can do them, not because I haven't got the time to do them. We've got maps that show you all where our learners are, and again that's all built in, and it's just basically you type the coordinates into a list and it represents itself into a map.
So is that in Google Maps?
That basically works off Google Maps, but presents itself into SharePoint.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Which is great because again you're just working from one place. Because what we found, if we sent staff to a different place, it didn't work. They just didn't use it. So we kind of sort of use this as a starting point and built out.
I think the maps would be really useful for Nigel, actually, for your assessors, because obviously sort of they've got their learners all over the place.
Possibility,
geographically. So if they had a map on SharePoint that showed where their learners were, then that would help sort of as far as managing their time, I think.
Yeah, I've got a site that I use for just testing. So you'll have to just kind of ignore this, but because there's not really a lot in it. But we're looking at reporting for. I've just got rid of it. So we're looking at showing all our reports for printing directly in. So there's an app that you can get that pulls in a spreadsheet and represented it in terms of graphs. So we have, because we use a hell of a lot of printing, and we've been trying to reduce the printing, and a lot of that was just making them aware of what they're using. So we've got a spreadsheet that a feed that basically represents itself into a map, into a graph that people see. So we're just doing that now. Like this ticker, you can just use. If you've got Twitter, you can pull it from that, or an RSS feed, or you can just feed it manually. But again, it's just a free app that you can get, and we've just put the right colours in and fitted it in. And this is just it's a daft little thing, this, but people kept saying, well, I need to do this, and I need to go there, and I need to do this. So it's basically all this does is links to a link. So they go, I need to log to Moodle, click go, and it logs them to Moodle. But it's just links. It's nothing. It's kind of clever, but it works. I need to go here. So we put links into here, and what this does, it measures how often people go. So we get like an analytical view of how many times they go to a particular link, and when they don't use it, we take it off. It works.
Really good.
It just does the job. Yeah. And these tiles are just basically, I say, it's fed from a blogging site that feeds these, and we can have as many as we want of these, which is why they automatically rotate to the top. And they're what they do is they're scheduled. So what you would do is they automatically archive. So all we do is create a post, test. You can put your text in, and it's just normal text. You got headings and different things, and you put a start date, so it appears from the start date. We put a summary, which feeds the tile at the top, and then pictures. You can import your own pictures, or you can insert a picture from a link, and then put the expiry date. And then what that does is that goes on and comes off automatically, so you don't have to worry about taking the post off. And we use that for just internal news. But when we do it for students, it'll be the same. So we're going to put exam dates, and again we can target the people of who see it. So you might see a little square that only finance can see, or only a particular cohort could see. Yeah, but it's great because what it does do is it archives automatically. So over the years, what we're going to use it for is Ofsted like to see. We know Ofsted like to see what you've been doing, so it'll automatically archive throughout the years. So we can just go back throughout the years and look back. So that was one of the things we wanted it for.
That's really useful. That looks so good. Darren,
it's so easy as well. This is the daft thing. Once you know, it's really, really easy to do, and it's really, really easy for staff to manage. I mean, if you've got a member of staff, all they do, like I say, is click create and fill out the fields. That's it. They can't really go wrong as long as they fill out the fields, and you can make them so they have to fill out particular fields.
So can I just ask, Darren, how have you done a survey or anything, feedback, or got feedback from staff on how they use this and sort of how beneficial they find it?
Yeah, I've got some results for that, but we did it on Staff Development Day.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of stuff from the rollout was Staff Development Day, and the feedback was from Staff Development Day. So yeah, I can send you that as well if it helps.
I think, well, it was just to get an overview of it, really, of obviously sort of you've set this up, it's your baby, but to find out what their feedback was, what was their general reaction to using it? Are they engaging well with it?
Yeah, that they are. They are in terms of, like I say, we use analytics behind the scenes, so we know sort of how many people are using it, and what they're using it for, and we sort of I kind of adapt it to fit. And then just a lot of times I just have a walk around and say, what do you use this? No, we don't like this. We like this. The hardest part was the documents. The hardest part was the documents, to get them to start using the OneDrive and the shared documents. And the way we did that is we gave them other things on top of it. So we didn't just give them access to the documents. We then gave them access to such a we don't give out fuel forms anymore. They have to go through here to get their pay claims, that sort of thing. So we kind of forced it upon them, rightly or wrongly.
So so they're doing all of their expenses and claim forms and travel and things like that.
Everything. There is nothing there that we don't do through this. And it was a little bit being cruel to be kind.
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, it's a daft little thing because marketing, we're trying to get the staff to retweet, and they wouldn't. So we pushed Twitter through every single department. So they get their documents by clicking the link, but they also see the Twitter and they can retweet directly back from a tile. So I know it's a daft little thing.
That makes it easy, doesn't it?
I've just gone through the roof.
Yeah, that makes it so much easier, and I think
because
it's the ease of
all our
use.
Staff do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all I do is they click that, and it opens up Twitter, and there we go. Yeah. So within a second, I'm retweeting.
Brilliant.
And if we do that for learners, when we do this for learners, well, hopefully we'll get the learners to retweet everything that we do.
Yeah.
So you think we've got 10,000 learners?
That's a lot of coverage, isn't it?
It's a lot of coverage, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm aware of time because that's been such a wealth of information. I know Jane and we're just sitting here with our jaw on the floor because we were unaware of the amount that you could use SharePoint and Office 365 and how you've used it. Some of the ways you've used it are really, really good. So hopefully that's been really useful for you, Nigel. Have you got any questions, Nigel, that have come up while Darren's
I've got tons. Darren, if you don't mind, I'm going to email you later on.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Well, that's good though, because obviously sort of it's thrown up. It's great that it's thrown up lots of questions, and that's given you some really good food for thought, Nigel, to get you started. Because sometimes it's knowing where to begin, isn't it? So obviously, we've got the ball rolling for you, and Jane and I think are going to go away and maybe have a bit more of a play with this as well.
I think we need to complain to our SharePoint people and say, why haven't you done all this on our SharePoint?
Yeah,
It'd be much better. Yeah.
So it's
very good.
I think so. Yeah, we haven't got time to go through our one. I think unless you've got a little bit more time.
I don't think it's worth it.
There's a couple of things on there. I think if you've got 5 minutes, Nigel, have you got a spare 5 minutes?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I think what I'll do then, if you can stop share presenting. So if you go to the top right there, or the top button there, it says stop presenting, Nigel. And then what I'll do is I'll present my screen. Let me just move this over.
Yes, that's fine.